Another thing we were talking about before that I wanted to discuss today is, you got a little gig that you're working on, a little job. You're seeing how the sausage is made in the video game space, in the football video game space. How much can you talk about, that kind of stuff? If not the specifics about the project, just like, what it's like to work on something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can say a lot. There's a lot I can say. Obviously, it's not like, when you work with other companies, there's like, I'm not saying there aren't NDAs or things that's confidential, but I feel like a lot of times when you work with big companies, older companies, they're just so big, so old that it's hard to be allowed to do many things. Whereas with this current job, I have complete freedom,
Right.
That's what I love about it. So basically, I mean, we just talked in so abstract. I work for...
This is my Joe Rogan moment. Hey, can
Yeah.
you tell the audience about like what you're kind of doing a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, last time I came here, I was basically a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
Now I'm a part-time content creator, full-time game designer, I guess we can call it, video game designer.
Is that on the Bumble profile, or we'll talk to me? What's the Bumble?
No,
Come on,
no,
come on.
It's a dangerous route. You say video game designer, then you're like, what kind of video game? You say football game, it's too much. We've already narrowed it down too much. You know what I mean? You know that iPad game which can guess anyone if you just...
Right.
Yeah, like I feel like if it could guess my job, by the time it says I'm a video game designer, what game, football, then it already says, oh, you're a goals employee. I'm like, fuck. It's too much information.
Too close to home, man. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I work for Goals, which is what are they doing? They're making a football video game. Essentially, that's what it is. They're making a football video game. So it'll be a while, obviously, until it's fully out, but it's exciting. I guess it's everything I would have dreamed of in a video game to come out when I was only making content, because let's face it, FIFA is not getting any better. It will not get better. The direction they're going, just as every game is further from what I like.
Right.
Whether that is right or wrong, who am I to say? I just know I don't like it. eFootball, I don't know, man. They're all sim-based games. We're not making a sim. We're making a competitive, fun, fast-paced game, which ironically is probably...
That's way better.
Yeah, and it's probably going to respect the game of football more in the sense that, while it's fast and fast-paced and arcadey, we will not have something, at least I hope, like the El Tornado.
Yo, someone's going to clip this. Like, you're going to make it into a compilation. You know how they did for FIFA? Like when like Corey used to say something about the game and then like it would jump cut to like the game being abysmal.
Yeah. Well, look... At the very least, then it would get patched. But like, so long as I'm involved, I will always push for things like, I don't know, an El Tornado meta being the best way to score, or canceling skill moves. No, it's gonna be fast.
For people that don't understand, not like game-breaking glitches that are easily executable, or things that kind of go outside the realm of reality. That's what FIFA does.
Which is ironic, right? Yeah. Because they make this base game slow and heavy to say, oh, because we're a sim-based game, and then they add these weird gimmicky features which pretty much destroy any realism in sim. So I'm like, you may as well have just made an arcade game at that point. Like, what's the point of having such sim-based, boring, slow base, which some people are into that, fine, but then sprinkling on top these mechanics which ruin the balance and pretty much make it not realistic at all. So I don't get it.
What's the there's quite a few questions I can ask you here. I guess the first one is there an inspiration when you guys are are you looking at old PES games? Are you talking about that kind of stuff when you're making it?
We're looking at everything, bro.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Obviously a lot of the people working on the game have the knowledge or a past with a lot of the older games. So we know a lot of people know the direction we want, but at the same time, we have, we're working on Unreal Engine. We have better things to work with. So obviously that's the inspiration, but it's hopefully going to be a product worthy of 2020, whenever it releases. So it's going to be better. But the foundation is that, fast, simple, user decision is king, because at the end of the day, if you pass into me, I'm going to intercept it. And if you're not there to cut the passing lane, the pass is going through. Like simple fundamentals that make it a user based decision game
Right.
for football.
Right. For people that might not understand like how bad FIFA has gotten, it's like the point. Like it's gotten to a point where the most basic stuff feels at times randomized. Like things that should almost never be randomized have become randomized, and that's in a sense opened the game up for absolutely anyone because the skill level or skill gap is deteriorated. But in another sense, it's made a horrendous pile of garbage that you can't play for a long period of time if it's something you want to invest your time into.
It's really difficult. If you do, I mean, I guess there's actually a lot of younger players now who have never seen a FIFA prior to like FIFA 20, maybe. So to them, this is all they know, and it's just the reality they live in. So they adapt really well. But in terms of people my age group and even not even younger than me, but that did play the older games, I've seen a lot of people dwindle out, and it's because of what you said. So just everything is backwards. If you have a clear cut open passing lane, for some reason it doesn't work. But then if a pass is completely blocked, for some reason the game assists it to make it happen. And so user decision making is all out the window. And so you might be answering, but then how's it possible for the best players to always win? Well, that's where those gimmicky mechanics come in. If the foundation is RNG and you can't do anything about it, what's going to push the game on your side and make you win games consistently are these new gimmicks, maybe a broken mechanic that gets you a goal every time from a certain position, breaks the game, that glitches through players, stuff like that. And so that's where the best players can really abuse the skill gap that there is. But that's the problem. The skill gap is in areas that shouldn't exist. And the areas that should have the skill gap are fully randomized so that you pick it up and you can have a good time with someone who's never played it, you know? Because essentially you're a spectator, but that kills the game for a hardcore player like myself.
It's weird. It's kind of like picking up like Mario Party, but Mario Party does it in the most perfect way where you do want that randomization and like pretty much almost 90% of the game to be determined by luck because that makes this fun. But then if you take a mechanic like that or a thought process like that into a competitive football game, it's like this is unplayable. This is stupid. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's interesting though that you say competitive because honestly, like even before they pushed a lot of the competitive scene within their like Ultimate Team trading card game mode, even then it's still, I've never seen people so more angry than when they play FIFA. I feel like FIFA couch play or online play, people just get super triggered when they lose. And to me, it just comes down to the fact of how RNG it is. I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of times I've seen casuals play tournament and the guy who's losing looks like he just saw a ghost. I mean, like he could be at a party or whatever. He's so upset. And I think part of it has to do with like maybe it's football and football fans, they can't take a loss. But also at the same time, I do think it comes to the RNG element that FIFA has always had. Like throughout the years, a bullshit loss, you've heard that forever in FIFA.
Yeah, it's like such a meme in the community, and every year the videos are the same. Well, not the same, but like the glitches are always fucking crazy. Like you would think after 7 years of in a row they could release one trailer without any bugs in it, like as their main selling tool for and nope. There's the middle of the thing. There's a guy standing doing the cross fucking in the middle of the. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see this year's, to be honest.
Oh, you didn't see it, dude. So in the middle of the trailer, there's like action scenes going on, whatever, passing, and then like for a good solid 2-3 seconds, in the background, there's a guy just standing like this, not moving, frozen. I'm doing the Jesus fucking cross thing for anyone listening. Yeah, like he's not moving, and it's in the launch trailer that has 4 point something million views. Like, how is anyone going to be optimistic if you can't even fix the glitches in the like polished cinematic of the game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, those glitches just have me laughing. I would take those glitches any day of the week if the actual gameplay was
right.
fine. But it's
funny that you have to make that trade off. Even this is by the way, this is a really fucking ambitious project because this is one of the most monopolized genres in gaming. So without being disrespectful here, how the fuck are you guys gonna have any say in this space? When it comes to actual, marketing, licenses, like, do you feel like that's the bigger hurdle than actually making the game itself? Maybe that's a stupid question.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of the phrases that I always hear within the well, actually, before that, you did mention licenses. Did you
Yeah.
know though that we don't need licenses
Oh, because it's not a
because
realistic. Oh,
we're not using real players. I don't know.
you
I mean,
sneaky boys!
we
I
did.
like that.
Yeah, the
Love
game
that.
design reveal. We pretty much revealed that our players are randomly generated players. And look, what I love about the game is that at the end of the day, we're gonna die. We're gonna succeed or die by the gameplay because that's what it all comes down to for us. If the game is fun, it'll be great. If
Right.
not, it won't. Which is what I like because a lot of people are skeptical. Not, and I understand the being skeptical, but I mean like skeptical because of the technology that the game wants to use, right? So the game wants to use a lot of Web3 technology and it wants to give you your assets in terms of NFTs. The problem is that when you say those words, people
Mm.
panic and they're like scam, 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 scam. But like all it means is that everything you own is yours. There's not like an NFT that there's not like a picture that's gonna come out or there's not a token to buy into. It's
This is not
just
like that Klaus Schwab. Have you ever seen that Klaus Schwab guy from the World Economic Forum?
no.
He's like, these guys creep me the fuck out, bro. These guys are like villains in the real world. It's like one video they're talking about. It's like you will own nothing and you will be happy. Like,
What
I'm
is
like,
that?
yeah, like they're like that's like their objective, like mission statement for the World Economic Forum. Like these guys are literally like Doctor Evil, but in the real world. Like he's got this like he's a Swiss guy with his like thick kind of Germanic accent, and he's like 80 fucking thousand years old. It's like, you will own nothing and you will be happy. You're gonna give people everything. They're gonna own everything in the game, is what you're saying.
Exactly, but people hear NFT and they think that we're selling some sort of token or some idea or no, look, you can play the game and completely ignore the fact that you can sell your items. We're just making the fact that any item you earn, like any player you earn, you can make money off of because you can sell him. It's like imagine you play
CS:GO kind of thing, like, kind of like a CS:GO skin thing. I don't know if you know much about CS:GO,
well, I know they did have skins, right?
but they don't have any like elements that would make you like pay to win. It was just more cosmetics and stuff like that.
Right, right, right.
And they have a shop within Steam. Like, oh, if you have this cool fucking AK-47 skin, you could sell it for like if it's hyper rare, you
Yeah,
can sell it on their marketplace.
except ours is even better because you cannot buy packs. Like you can't. The only way to generate a player is to play.
Right.
So you can't. And the only and if you're gonna buy a player on the market because you think he's amazing, well, you're paying someone else for it, right?
Mm,
So you're not buying it off an in-game store. You're not buying it off of us, and you can't be lucky. I mean, you're gonna have to have luck to generate a good player, but the luckiest people are most likely going to be the best people because the best people are going to generate the most players, right?
right. It's gonna be
So
earned.
yeah, everything's earned,
Yeah.
and then if you want to play and earn your it's pretty much play to earn. You
Right.
just earn your players. Now, if you want to sell your players to other users, fine. If you don't, okay, then ignore everything. You don't have to, and you ignore and you just play it how it is. It's essentially like a mix. It takes like that element of Football Manager where you constantly generate players
Yeah.
mixes other games where you can sell them and you are selling them, but you can choose to keep them and ignore the whole interacting with other users thing and just do your own thing. It's so free. The design is so free that there's literally nothing you have to do. The goal is to make it as seamless as possible. So like you don't have to create any wallet. It's just all there in game, super easy, and you go with it. But people obviously when they hear those words right now, it's bad, which is also, I guess, a good thing that we are releasing later because maybe by then it'll be
Or it's
less.
worse. There's even
less
more It's just there's a lot of NFT scams and you hear a lot about tokens, crashing, and obviously you're either one of two. You're one of two people. You're like, oh, NFTs are the future. There's a lot of potential, or you're like, oh, NFT. I heard that shit's a scam, and like I don't feel like there's almost no middle ground. I'm kind of in the middle. Like I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm not like trying to push one idea or the other.
Yeah, it's just NFT for us. All it means is that it's a player is a non-fungible token. As in, there's only one of that. He's yours. If you want to keep him, great. If you want someone else wants him, I guess you can listen to offers, and that's that. That is, but they have their utilities, and that's how you play the game. Those you're using those players.
And you've obviously talked to some of the people running this thing. Did this idea, because I remember even when this was announced a few years back, did a lot of this idea stem from people that really were tired of FIFA and the product they were releasing every year and the monopoly they had over the football? And essentially, this is why they have this mission to make a game that's completely different and doesn't follow those, pack bullshit rules that EA does.
Yeah, I think it was the CEO Andreas. He had a thread when he announced it, and he was like, it was pretty much, well, why don't we just build our own? And that's how the idea came about it.
He's like Elon.
And
Why don't we just build a
yeah,
tunnel under LA?
and that's where the idea came from. Like, I think the whole Web3 aspect of it is just right place, right time, because that's the technology we have now. But I think
Right,
the core driver of everything was always let's build our own fun, great football game.
right.
Where we don't have to, we don't have pressures to make it noob friendly or this friendly, or we don't have to have things that, whether or not they exist or not, things like handicap and momentum, right? I'm not saying they
Yeah.
exist. I'm just saying you create a game where it's not even a question of whether they exist or not. It doesn't. It's just try to make it as skill based as possible for a football game.
Are you also involved for this game? Are you involved in the content element of it, or is it just strictly gameplay? This is how the game should flow. This is how player touches should be. This is how etc. should be. Or are you actually giving them ideas? Hey, this would be some cool content. Like we need to think about longevity because that's a massive part of the ecosystem in FIFA. It's like that yearly longevity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. The best part of going in early or being a part of it early is that although you have, I mean, game designer and covers a wide area of areas of the game, but in general, you get to have a say in everything. So
Right.
anytime you have a sort of any idea, or you can help brainstorm, chuck an idea in there on the table, you have the opportunity to do so, and that's exciting. So there's when it comes down to it, I could
That's
help
cool.
out with that. I could help out with literally everything
Right.
that is obviously in my capabilities. But in terms of brainstorming ideas and direction, I mean, everything is on the table. I mean, these days I've been working on tons of things that haven't nothing to do with gameplay.
Interesting.
Just the modes, how we want the game to be. Imagine how fun it is to create a mode from scratch, right?
Right.
Like,
So many cool ideas. And do you ever contact other people like contact JCC? Hey, bro, we want to make a I don't know pro clubs. How the fuck? What do you think the best version of pro clubs looks like?
no, that's definitely someone that eventually, I mean, if he's down, we'll definitely
Damn, my
reach
my
out
two most
because
decorated guests. Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me.
no, but for certain people, because obviously the pro club scene is not something that everything else I'd be perfectly well
Sure.
versed in, but picking someone else's brain is always great. That's another cool part of the project is that the community is so involved. There's like a Discord, and people always give suggestions, and the important part is not how good a suggestion is, how bad it is. It's just that they keep coming, because you never know if you read something and it inspires something else.
Sure.
And we've reiterated, like, the way cards are generated and the system we have now, we're so happy with it, and it all came about because people weren't happy with the previous one, and we spent like a month going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until we were inspired and came out with the most recent one. So and that was all thanks to like the back and forth. So obviously, anytime there's a possibility to talk to someone, 100%.
Right. And have you guys gone like gun ho on marketing and stuff, or like you're so far away from it right now, you're just focused on making the game? Is this just we're so early in this thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is a marketing team, and they are pretty active on social medias. I think there's an interview with PK that came out
Whoa,
recently.
that's
Yeah,
sick.
because
He's involved.
PK, yeah, he's involved. So I think there was an interview with him.
Remember, PK
There's
was involved in
articles.
Konami, right? As well, they were doing
Oh
like that
yeah.
tracking. Why is PK the fucking guy for this shit?
he's he loves it, man.
He loves it. Yeah, clearly. Yeah, especially after that little scuffle my guys had in the last few. Anyways, jumping into something else.